Hello, hello, how are you? Habari zenu? This is just Peter from Off-Road Explorers Kenya. And guess who we have today? We have our guest here, Mr. Dan, Music King himself. Dan, yes. Salimia watu.
Niaje. Naitwa Dan, Music King International School of Music Kenya. And I'm here with Josh Peter. Yes.
Great. Sasa watu, wacha niwaambie. Check the vehicle Mr. Dan has. This
110 Land Rover Defender.
Exactly, the Land Rover 110. So guys, today Mr. Dan has allowed us to do a review, and thank you very much, Mr. Dan.
Yes.
So we are about to check your Land Rover.
Yes.
And can you tell us about this beautiful rig here?
This is a Land Rover 110. It's the Land Rover 110 standard, the 1967 model. And yeah, so we have done 1 or 2, 3 things upon it, and it's coming well. So you can take a look and see what we have here. It's a good machine, a powerful car. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Can you give us an overview of this vehicle, maybe from the time you got it, how it was? Let's see what you've done. Tell us about it.
I got this car in 2022. It was rigged, and I had to rebuild it. Probably you'll see the past photos and the present ones that we have. So we have done the engine, we have changed the engine, some part of the interior, the new tires, and the gearbox. Yeah, so we have done quite some job on it. And right now I can say that it's a well done car. However, the power for it is still the same for adventure, hiking, and such things.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. You said it's a 1967 vehicle.
Yes.
So basically, you're driving a vehicle that
you can see the number. It's a KUL.
Woo! And the vehicle is
I bet
actually,
you are not born at
actually, in fact, I wasn't born, and most of us were not even born, including the people who will be watching, this video.
You know, Joy South Kenyatta.
But it's true. It's a British vehicle, eh? Oh, and it's pure aluminium.
Yes.
Apart from this thing we call the bulba.
Inaitwa sufuria.
And basically it's for protecting the car.
Yes.
When you're in the bush.
Yes.
And not really on the road, because on the road we don't cause accidents.
Yes.
But basically pushing the trees, the shrubs sideways so that you can, make way in the forest.
Yes.
So Mr. Dan, tell us, what inspired you to having a Land Rover?
I was just looking for something to do 4x4. Of course, hiking with my family, maybe to go to like Masai Mara,
yes,
Serengeti, Amboseli. And then I was just looking for a car that can serve for that purpose. And then I came across to know about the Land Rover. Like the way you're saying, it's an aluminium, it doesn't rust. And it's a car that can serve you for quite some time. Yes. So that's how I acquired it.
All right.
Yes. It was just for family purpose.
Family purpose.
Yes.
So basically, not really bundu bashing per se, but family outing and what have you.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, in comparison, what do you think in comparison with any other vehicle? What do you say about, say, a vehicle like the Toyota? We have the Suzuki, we have the Mitsubishi. What's your take on that kind of comparison?
To be honest, I haven't experienced with other cars, so I don't know how to compare them. But into Land Rover world, I know it's a good car, and as you can see by the year itself, and still the vehicle is intact. Everything
actually
is okay.
Looks very new. Yes.
Yeah, you can. It's just something to tell you that it's a good car that you can drive for many years. And I'm still driving it, and I believe even my son will still drive it.
That is very true.
At a time.
This Land Rover will not break down. There's a video I once posted in my page.
Yes.
A very old Land Rover. It was pulling a new vehicle, so it looked very funny. Because the Land Rover is very old,
yes, but
it's actually recovering. A very new car. Yes. Now, can you tell us about this engine you're talking about? Tell us the kind of engine you have in the hood. Tell us the capacity your vehicle has.
Yes.
Yes.
The best thing with the Land Rover from the chassis point of view is that it accepts a lot of engines. So you can put most of the engines.
Yes.
But of course, it comes very good with its own engine, the
Yes.
Land Rover. So currently this one has a TDI 300.
Yes.
It's about 125 horsepower. That is equivalent to 2,500 cc. It's a diesel injected engine, and it performs good. The engine itself, it's 1994 model.
Awesome.
So up to date, it still works.
And it still works.
It still works very good.
That is nice.
The top speed is around 180. Yes, so it's a good car.
Okay.
So and I've used that engine for quite some time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, allow me ask. We have other vehicles which are almost a similar capacity. For example, we have some Mitsubishis, some Pajeros that have a similar. So would you trade in your vehicle for a Mitsubishi? Would you trade in your vehicle for, say, a Toyota Prado? Would you trade in your vehicle for a Suzuki?
No, I wouldn't.
Can you tell us why?
Number one, I'm in love with this car.
All right. Oh yes,
the way it
that
performs, it's an England car. So there is no comparison. And if there is comparison, maybe for those who have them. But as for me, the Land Rover is my car.
Awesome.
Yes.
So guys, this is just Peter from Off-Road Explorers. As I told you, if you need a vehicle, if you need to buy a car, you can always call me on 0721 543432. If you need to buy spare parts, guys, you can always call me 0721 543432. Now we are about to get deeper into this vehicle, so guys, join us. Thank you. So, Mr. Dan,
yes,
I can see you just said that you are in love with your vehicle.
So much.
Basically, for you to have such a vehicle, a beautiful vehicle, or someone to have such a beautiful vehicle, it means you have to be in love with it. Yes. But now, Mr. Dan, allow me ask. I've heard people and I've actually seen some vehicles breaking down, and most of the vehicles are Land Rover. Can you tell us about it? Why do Land Rovers break down?
You know, it's like or how can I put it, Mr. Jos Peter? It's like you see, we say that vehicles, they are like our second wives. Yes.
Yes.
And I bet even your wife has some issues. So this Land Rover, it has its own issues, but it's not so much about breaking it down. Because if you don't have enough money to make it the way you want it, of course. And if you look at it in Kenya, which ni gari gani zinafanya breakdown sana, zinavuta gari zingine?
You want to tell me, you want to challenge me the Land Rover?
Ushaona cruiser ikivuta gari kwa barabara?
Well, I have somewhere. I will not tell you where, but I've seen cruisers. In fact, I've recovered so many.
Now I'll tell you where the challenge is.
Tell me.
You see, when you change the engine of a car, unapata mtu anafungulia bonnet ya Land Rover, unapata ni engine ya Noah. Noah, sijui Nissan iko hapo ndani.
Yes.
Hiyo gari lazima ishindange kwa barabara. Watu watasema ni engine iko na shida ama ni gari.
Well, people will see it's a vehicle.
Yes. But the Land Rover with original Land Rover engine, it will never break down. It will never.
Okay.
It doesn't. And as long as you're giving it the right service,
exactly
the time that is required, that car
will not break down.
Yes.
So allow me ask Mr. Dan, have you ever done, since you talked of recovery, have you yourself ever done any recovery? Have you ever recovered a vehicle?
So many.
Oh, so many.
So many.
Just because you have the brand of the Land Rover.
Yes, yes. It's in our blood.
It's in your blood.
Yes.
Oh, apala. So he's trying to convince me otherwise. I will say this. The fact that he has a Land Rover, I still stick to Toyota. Let him stick to, but I still welcome you to the Toyota world. By any chance you reconsider, you're very much welcome into the Toyota world. So, Mr. Dan, I want you to also know that Mr. Dan has a music school. It's called Musikin International. You can Google it, Musikin International, Kenya, isn't it?
Yes.
So you can check in if you have your you have someone who wants to learn music. You can get to Musikin portal or something.
International
Is it?
Yes.
Very good. So, guys, we want to before we now get into really practical, allow me ask. People say the Land Rover has an issue of brake. It never breaks well. Tell us. Hii gari na shida ya brake. Tell us.
Haina shida ya brakes.
No, people always say